Join us for episode 132, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party for 2026. This is the ultimate family guide and planning. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Hello, Disney family. I guess we're doing video podcast now. So here we are, 2 weeks in a row. There's another video podcast. So if you're interested, once again, head to my YouTube channel and you can see this on video. Why am I doing video? Because I need to show you a map. Today, we're going to be talking about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. It is one of our most favorite parties of the year. And as an effort to start getting my one-day guides on YouTube to help people out, I'm going to be recording these as podcasts, especially since I apparently am a video podcaster now that doesn't wear makeup on air, which is very weird. I digress. And I realized I don't have very many Disney Halloween themed shirts. Now, ears, I definitely do. These cute ears that I'm wearing right now are by Copper by Design. But this is my one and only Disney shirt. I'm going to stand up so you can see it. And all it says is bippity boppity boo. That's it. So I need to work on that. Disney has dropped all of their Halloween merch. I know the pink pastel stuff is going to sell out very fast, and it's very irritating that this is the one year we are not going down for Halloween. So maybe some of my friends can help me snag some of those things, but if not, it wasn't meant to be anyway. I am not 100% sure how I'm going to do this podcast today. I have 4 different itineraries in my one-day guides that are on my website. So I don't know if I'm going to try to just do the overview part as the main podcast that you would listen to over audio. And then if you want a little bit more in-depth guide, you can go to my YouTube channel and look at the 4 different videos I'll make over the guide. It just depends how long this gets. I usually don't like to have a podcast that is over an hour long. I just feel like that's a lot of time to be listening to me. Yep. But I want to break down some of the overview for everyone, and we'll start watching the time. If it starts getting to 45 minutes, I'll break it up a little bit more. You can catch the rest on YouTube. But I hope this beginning part of the podcast, you'll get all the general information that you need. So I'm going to be honest, not very much has changed with Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party since it came back. We went to the very first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party when it came back, I think in 2022. Before that, we weren't really a Halloween Disney family because until we joined DVC in 2018, we were not going to Disney multiple times a year. Before that, we were going to Disney once a year, and it was typically during the Christmas season. So I've been going to the Christmas party since 2013 or 12. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the Halloween party, we've gone yearly since 2022. This is the first year we're not going, but my friend Melissa at Happy Haunts Planet Magic, we are collaborating together, and she is going to be showing the party also on my stories. But it's pretty much stayed the same, which is why I didn't feel the need to go this year. I don't think there's going to be any major changes to the party until Piston Peak and Villains Land opens. With the addition of Piston Peak, yes, there may be some cool things that come, but I don't think we're going to see like an overhaul or a big change until they add that villains area and we actually get something different inside of the park where they can really do something pretty cool. So what I'm going to go over, I'm hoping will help you out for a couple of years until those big changes come. But at least for this season, the 2026 season, this should give you a pretty good overview. So most people don't just come in town just for the Halloween party. We do that, but most people don't. But I will say these parties are the one time that I love to stay on the Monorail resorts, and that is because of the access to Magic Kingdom. Now, I will tell you specifically because we do come in just for parties, you will always find us at Bay Lake Tower at the Contemporary, even though it is literally my least favorite DVC resort on property. I have such a beef with that resort because of the food. food situation because there's no food in the main DVC building. You have to go to the A-frame. So I always tell people, especially if you have little kids, request the 5th floor because it connects to the 4th floor and you can access food easily. And it just, I don't know, it like grinds my gears for some reason. And I'm like, just let it go. It's not that big of a deal, but it is. But I do love staying there because the walkability, and nothing beats that when you are done with the party, the kids are asleep, you're pushing your stroller, and you don't have to clean it up to go on a bus or a monorail or a ferry. You literally just walk the 10 minutes back to your resort. So I do love staying at it for that reason. And so that's where we usually pick when we're going to a party. The other thing is we do not go to a park the day of the party. Not only do we want the kids to be very well rested before we go to this party, because our goal is always to close it down. We never go to any party with the intent of leaving early. We want to be the last people walking on Main Street. We want the cast members to have their lighted batons and be waving us out. Like that's our mentality when we go into these parties. So you will never catch us at a park the same day. And honestly, even though we have annual passes, if you are paying for this ticket, party tickets, I think they run anywhere from like 159 to 222. So let's say in September you're going and it's 179. And then we know the cheapest park day, quote unquote, at Disney is quote unquote technically $109. I don't know if that's true for this year, but it definitely was last year. So even at the cheapest, if you're paying like 109 and 179, that's a $288 park day. Like I don't think that that's worth it. And then you talk about the psychology of feeling like you need to get your money's worth. You're going to burn everyone out. No one's going to have a good time. And so I just advise everyone, sleep in, really sleep in, really rest, have a good lunch, because the reality is if you're dressing up for the party, you want to start getting ready around 2:00. And even if you're just throwing on shirts and stuff, I still recommend start moving and getting around 2:30-ish, because your party ticket allows you access into the park at 4 p.m. And I do recommend being there to get into the park at 4 p.m., whether it's to eat dinner or just to like get on some activities. I think that you should be there at 4. But before we get into the details, let's talk a little bit about like the different steps. So first, you got to buy your party ticket on the day that you want to go. I always recommend put it at the beginning of your trip. It rains a lot in that August to October 15th window. It's actually like peak hurricane season. And so especially in the month of September, which I believe is the wettest month in Florida, you're going to get a lot of rain. My hope is that if you have the party like the, second or third night, and if you have like a week-long trip and let's say it completely gets rained out, and they offer you like another park day ticket, maybe there's a chance the party isn't sold out. Maybe you could ask really kindly that you haven't moved. You get another party date. And now the instances that they would even consider this is like if fireworks couldn't happen, if any stage shows could not happen, they may consider giving you another party day as long as it's not sold out. So that's why I'm saying put it in the beginning of your trip. That way, if you have a horrible experience, everything is rained out, you don't get to see any of the shows, there's a chance that you could go to the party again, versus if you wait till the end of your trip, you're leaving, so it's like better to get that done first. You buy that on the website. Undercover Tourist is also a retailer of Disney tickets, and you can sometimes get a discount there, but you want to make sure that you plan that party in the beginning of your trip. You'll link your tickets on your My Disney experience, just like any other tickets, and then you'll be able to tap your Magic Band or tap your phone to get in for the party. So a couple of other things to think about before the party if you need it. If you are a DAS user, and remember, Disability Access Pass has changed to be specifically for those with autism as of 2024. That does work during the party, so don't forget to have that set up for the party as well. There's also mobility viewing areas. I really had to lean into this in 2024 when we took 2 scooters to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party, and that's where I learned that there's all these designated areas for the parade. There's one on Main Street in Liberty Square, and then there's also a reserved area at the fireworks. Now, you need to get there early for these areas. I'm talking like 45 minutes before to be able to claim your spot, but they do have these reserved areas. When it comes to American Sign Language, I do believe there are specific nights that there will be an ASL interpreter available. I don't know them off the top of my head, but I will look for those and I'll put them in the show notes. There's also Enchanted Extra. So there is like a dessert party for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party if you want to do it, where you will watch the fireworks from the firework viewing area. This is one of the parties where it may not be a bad idea if you want to have the extra cost, because Jack Skellington, the large puppet, comes out in the beginning, and there are projections for this fireworks show. And even though the park is reduced capacity, fireworks will never feel like that because everyone in the park is going to come and watch fireworks. It's kind of rare compared to other events where people don't watch fireworks. Like Happily Ever After, we've seen it a million times. So sometimes we don't want to watch it from the front unless we're like with a group of people. But because people who come to Mickey's Not So Scary, even though you have people like us who will go every year, that fireworks show is the only time that we only see it once a year. So we're not skipping it. And I remember last year we waited in a spot for like 40 minutes and it wasn't like the best spot, honestly. And the crowds came in and I just was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if it's just it's the crowds or the pushing. I just can't stand anymore. And I want to stand in a spot that is great for projections and fireworks because we've sat really up close. And although it's great for projections, it was terrible for fireworks. They don't get like the full effect. So we like to stand in the back of the Castle Hub. And honestly, I think we need to sit next to a rail and just let everyone crowd in front of us and at least have the rail behind us. So you just have to find your spot. But if you did want to avoid that, you can do a dessert party. The one other thing I want people to know about before we start talking into like party highlights is there are allergy-friendly treats. It is a little different. You receive a token at each of the treat stations, and then you can go and collect the items for that token. I know that there is usually an allergy-friendly center at Liberty Square and at the Chamber of Commerce, and it is still fun to collect those tokens, and then you trade those tokens in for items, but just know there's 2 locations that you typically can do that. I'm sure it will stay the same. It's been the same place for the last couple of years, but just in case it does change, I'll update it in the show notes. And don't forget to ask, like if you walk by Liberty Square and you don't see it, it's usually like the building across from where Ichabod is, the Christmas tree shop. Ichabod usually has like a projection in that window, but it's across from that area. And you'll see the doors open and they have these big blue signs that say allergy friendly station, and it has the Mickey pumpkin on it. When you walk into the party, you also can grab a blue bag or turquoise bag, and that will let people know when you walk up to the treat station that you need the allergy-friendly token as well. So let's talk about what to wear to these parties. My family is a family Halloween dress-up kind of family. Like we always do the family costume and we love it, but full costumes are not something that you might want to wear for a while. So August and September are 2 of the hottest months in Florida typically. And for those early parties, if you're going to wear a costume, you need it to be breezy. You will be extremely hot and uncomfortable, and you might even like want to change. I always suggest if you want to wear a costume and it's elaborate, you might want to bring it and change into it later in the evening. I know that cuts into your party time, but I'm telling you, it is very, very hot. And even when I have worn costumes that I thought were light in August and early September, they weren't as breathable. Late September is when we usually start pulling out like the full on costumes, and we can usually do okay. We're not super hot or super sweaty. Now, there's lots of cute things you can do that are not a costume. You could wear what I'm wearing now, which is just like a cute Halloween shirt and cute ears. You can bound as something, which you see my family do a lot now, is like we always have like a theme of like Toy Story or Up or something where it's just like t-shirts, ears, and little things that make us kind of, you can tell what characters that we're going for. There's t-shirt costumes. So where the t-shirt makes you look like something, or it's like Monsters Inc. and it's all the faces of the different characters, and maybe you wear ears that match those characters. But just do something that's going to keep you cool, but still be festive. Now, I will say 90% of people who go to this party are festive. Like, it's really rare to see anyone that isn't in like something that's either Disney Halloween or a costume or something playing up Halloween with Disney. Usually you're not catching people just in like regular Under Armour shirts at this party, because people are coming with intention if you're paying this extra money for this Halloween party ticket. So being festive is part of the fun. Now, when you get to mid-September to October, you start to be able to wear the costumes. September is still kind of warm, but in the evening it really does cool off. So we have worn full costumes. And then in the month of October, we typically go in full costumes. Last year we were full Toy Story and we went in mid-October. It was a beautiful night. It literally couldn't have been more perfect. And, I was Miss Potato Head, so I was fully covered in a brown sack. So that worked out great. So just be mindful of what you're wearing and how everyone's going to handle it. And if you need to bring a change of clothes and get a locker, you can still get a locker during these parties. And I do recommend having a change of clothes if you are going to get super hot or super sweaty, or you're not carrying a stroller and you need to change out these kids from their full costumes. So here are a couple of party advice things that you need. So pre-party, I've already said don't go to the park because you need to rest. I suggest having a really big lunch and then possibly having an early dinner at the park. Usually I pick something very simple like Tony's. Is Tony's great? No. But is it kid friendly and usually everyone finds something that they want to eat? Yes. Yes. It is a really easy restaurant to find something for everyone to eat at Magic Kingdom. And I always book a reservation for around 4:30 because that allows me time to get into the park. Some people want to use that time to ride. Some people even go as far as buying Lightning Lane once they get into the park for that time so that they can maximize some of that stuff. And if you want to, if you look at like thrill data, ride times actually are usually down because people have started filtering out of Magic Kingdom for that day. And usually party days, the park is less crowded anyway. So you can definitely do that if you want to. I prefer to eat because I do not want to stop and eat during the party. Yes, we may get like a treat here and there, but the Halloween party, unlike the Christmas party, I feel like it's very busy because I have little kids and we're trick-or-treating. Now, if you do not have children or your children are much older and they don't care about trick-or-treating, maybe you don't have to worry about that, but I do. My kids are like there only for the treats. And so I want everyone really well fed and know that once the party happens, we're going to be able just to enjoy it and not have to stop for food. And we just snack and eat so much sugar that everyone crashes so hard that night. Then you want to decide your priorities. At this point, unless you're going to the first party, you should have already decided your priorities. The hard thing about going to the first party is you don't have all the times yet. Even us as content creators, we're all stalking that first party because that's when we see the map for the first time, can really see all the characters that are coming back, really check on all the times. So everything we have is really general ideas based off the previous year because it doesn't shift very much from year to year. So you definitely want to decide your priorities and what your focus is. And that's kind of like what my itineraries breakdown that I'm going to share is like if you have younger kids versus older kids, or you're on an adult trip, which I've done all of them for the party. You have to decide like what's the most important for you, because of course they overload the party with a lot of different things, because it wouldn't be a fun party if you could do all of it at once, and you definitely wouldn't come back if you could do it all at once. So they have things like magic shots too, so don't forget that with photo pass. They have some really cool pictures. And then of course they do have like the specialty food. Some of the specialty food you can eat during the day. So if you want to like eat that on a different day, you can do that. Some things will be party exclusive. There's also two other things you need to think about. There is an app switch. So your app will not refresh to the new app or new map and stuff until the party starts at 7 p.m. So there will be a switch that happens right at 7, where it'll go from like the regular Magic Kingdom map to now the party map. Also, you will see the store switch over merch. There will always be exclusive Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween merch. And I have never really cared for that until this year, because there are some bat ears that I am like, I need to ask Melissa to make sure she grabs those for me, because they are very, very cute. And those will be the party exclusive items. Disney dropped all their Halloween stuff today. So a lot of the merch is on the Disney website, but surprisingly, all the pink stuff, just like last year, I haven't seen on the website yet, but I'm hoping that we do get a few of those things. If you're watching this is a different outfit, different day. So we are going to finish up this podcast today. I know I mentioned earlier the treat bags having the teal bags, and then you also get a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween candy bag. Now, those bags are pretty small and you will fill them up. If you aspire to get even more candy, we do have Halloween treat bags that we bring. They're Mickey themed. I got them about 5 years ago, and we use the same ones, and even those get filled up. I have never asked for a second bag during the party, but I wouldn't be surprised if you could get one. But just know that little Halloween bag that they give you will be filled to the brim, especially towards the end of the night. They start just handing out handfuls of candy. So in the beginning of the night, you may get a couple pieces, but by the end of the night, you get a lot. So if you wanted to bring in a bag that held more candy, you can. So Magic Kingdom is the one park that's constantly decorated basically from July 4th. So once July comes, it has all the Americana decorations. And then, of course, Halloween starts in August, and it is adorned with the Mickey pumpkins on Main Street. You have fall foliage on the buildings. So when you are first arriving to Magic Kingdom, depending on what your goals are, I always say you want to leave your hotel room around 3 o'clock. Most of the time, transportation takes anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes to get there from the Disney resorts. If you are parking, you need a little bit more time, but I want you to leave around that time, or try to, so you can get in the line, because you will be getting in line on the right side of the entrance typically. You'll see the signs and you'll see the cast members who already have the Halloween cast costumes on, and there will be a sign that shows this way, and it shows you where you need to get in line so you can wait. So if you have priorities of getting into the park early, the earlier you are, the closer to the front of the line you are to get in. Now, with annual passes, it's really nice because we can just go through the annual pass entrance, and you can get a wristband inside the park. So if you don't take my advice and you decide to go to the park that day, or let's say that you bought tickets anyway, like a package deal, and you just wanted to get in a little bit earlier, you can go through the regular gate. You would be able to get a wristband once you were inside of the park as well. They'll have different stations around the park to do that. But if you just have a party ticket, you will line up on the right side. So once you are lined up and they start allowing people in, which, they say they allow people in at 4, but Disney always runs a little bit early. So you're probably going to see them start allowing people in around 3:45 to like 3:50-ish, and they'll start scanning everyone's bags, or well, you would have gone through security, but you'll start scanning your tickets, and then you walk in and you'll get a wristband, and they've gone to those cloth wristbands where they like pull the tab down, and you need to grab a map. Don't forget the map, because it's just easier for the Halloween party. Yes, your My Disney experience will turn into a map, but that is not until 7 o'clock. So you really want to just grab a map so you can see what is already in there. Then once you walk in, the first thing you need to do is grab a picture. Like, just do it. I always tell you this because you want a picture when everyone is fresh. Sometimes, like, depending on where the sun is, it isn't always the best, but you still grab that picture, and you can always take pictures later in the evening as well. But grab that picture first. That way you have everyone in their costumes or t-shirts, happy and ready to party. There's a PhotoPass photographer that is literally like right when you walk in, back there by like the fire station, looking down Main Street. Just go there and grab it, and then you can work your way down Main Street to get them closer to the castle. But I'm like, grab that picture first so you know that you have it. And then this is where your strategy actually begins. So depending on what your priorities are, you will start executing those things. So now is the part of the podcast where I am going to start running through different strategies, and I'm going to share my screen. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, I will walk you through what I'm sharing with everyone, but will have a map up, and I'm going to start with babies and toddlers. So we're looking at my Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party one-day guide, and we are going to go over the different itineraries in this. So when you look at my guide, I have all the disclaimers, a table of contents, and then I talk about the party and the entry times, give you a few tips, and then we make our way down to the itinerary. So this first one for babies and toddlers. So I have you starting to get ready at 2 p.m., especially if you're putting on costumes or traveling from your resort. So you want to have eaten before that time. Just depending on the kids, packing the stroller, getting out the door, it can take a little bit. It takes longer than you think. So I have you leaving around 2 to hopefully get to Magic Kingdom by 4 so that you're tapping in to the gates. Now, with babies and toddlers, I do suggest having dinner because they're typically eating earlier anyway, and more than likely they're not going to make it the whole party. And so it's like, let's get them fed really well so that we can enjoy all the fun stuff in the party early, and then they're more than likely going to have a snack and fall asleep. So on this itinerary, I have it to where we are going to Tony's Town Square at 4:30. Again, I picked Tony's because it's pasta, it's easy. The kids can find something they like. The adults can typically find something they like. It's pretty simple food. Is it like spectacular? No. But will it get the job done for like dinner before the party? Yes. Then I suggest rope dropping Mickey and Minnie at 6:30 because Tony's is located in that town hall theater. You will be able to just hop in line at 6:30, wait for the party to start, and then meet Mickey and Minnie. Now, last year they did start letting people meet them a little bit earlier, so we will definitely keep an eye on that. I'll keep an eye on that when the party starts to see what time they actually are meeting. And the hope is if you get in line around 6:30, you're not going to wait longer than 30 minutes to have your meet and greet, and you'll be out of there by 7:30, and the whole experience of that would take like a full hour, but it won't feel like that because you're like getting in line and then you'll be in the room. And if you've ever met Mickey there during the day, there's like a little snake line, so you start to see him, about 10 minutes before you meet him, but that will go very fast. Then I have you meeting Disney Junior characters. Now, before that location was in Tomorrowland because they moved it to Cosmic Rays the last 2 years, and the year before that, it was over at Storybook Circus. I don't know where this new location is right now because they have replaced what was at Starlight with Descendants this year. And so they haven't really said where the Disney Junior characters are, but I'm still assuming they're going to be in that Tomorrowland or Fantasyland area. So I have that next, is going to see some Disney Junior characters still while they're excited and fresh. When it was a dance party, it would be a great introduction into the party. And then since you're over in Tomorrowland, I have you hitting all the treat trails in Storybook Circus. And there you can ride Dumbo. There's Barnstormer over there. You can meet Goofy and Daisy over there. So there's just like a lot of great stuff for like the littles that you could do when you're over in Storybook Circus. And then you could also get on Mad Tea Party if that was something you wanted to do, ride Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and also Journey of the Little Mermaid. So that takes you over to the Fantasyland area, and that kind of like begins the party for the littles. So this is where knowing party times is going to be really important because I plan how we're going to see the parade, the shows, and the fireworks basically based on the age of the kids. Now, because these kids are younger, I tell you to go to the first Boost You parade, which is typical. You'll see a lot of little kids at this one. It is very crowded because it's the first one. So you want to get there a little bit earlier. These times are based off last year. And I know from last year's times to the year before, they were different by about 15 minutes. So until we have that first party, we aren't exactly sure that these are the times, but again, they're going to be around this time frame. So you can still kind of plan your day around this order because this order typically stays the same, but it just may change in terms of the actual times. So currently I have a pulled up map of what this looks like to do this party with an infant or a toddler. Now, this map will definitely change because this is the map from last year. As soon as this party happens, I'll be able to get a new map and update it. But you can kind of see the flow if you are looking at this over YouTube. Now, you see the number 1, we start in the middle of Main Street, but on the back half, closer to the fire station to get our picture. Then our second spot is to go over to Tony's to have dinner. Third is Mickey and Minnie meet and greet. Then we go over to that Fantasyland, Tomorrowland area to do treat trails and meet characters and hop on a couple of rides if you want to do that. Then we head to the Castle Hub. We're in the Castle Hub because we're going to watch the parade, the Hocus Pocus show, and the fireworks. So we just kind of plant and find our spot at that point. Then if the kids are okay and you want to keep going, you head over to Adventureland. You see there's 4 different treat spots or 5 over there. You can get on a couple of rides and there will be characters over there as well. So that's a full party for a baby and toddler. You get to see all the highlights and you will feel very happy with how full the party is. On this map, I also want to point out, you can see, like I said before, Liberty Square has this blue pumpkin, and so does City Hall. Those are the 2 locations where you're going to get the allergy-friendly items. So let's talk about my plan for my 4 to 9-year-olds. This is my school age kids. So same thing, start getting ready around 2. You want to arrive at the gates by 3:45 at the latest so that you can get into the party. I have it a little bit different for them. So I still have taking the family photo first. That is the goal. Take the family photo first, and then you start moving on. I put in here before your costumes melt or get messy. And you're going to eat quick service. You're going to go to Pinocchio Village House back in Fantasyland and grab pizza. They have salads there, very easy food. And you can take a ride on Tomorrowland Speedway because the wait time will be low, Astro Orbiter, the wait time will be low, People Mover, those were all super low wait times before 7 p.m. Then, if you have someone who was a fanatic with Stitch, I don't think this year they're going to have Elvis Stitch, but because they're having the Stitch and Angel dance party, but I feel like you would want to hang around Tomorrowland because your first stop might be that Stitch dance party. Here I have Elvis Stitch because this is the itinerary from last year, and I haven't updated this one because I need to know where if they're gonna have a meet and greet, but I'm assuming they're not gonna have a meet and greet, they're gonna have that Stitch party, and that will be probably the first thing you do and where you start in Tomorrowland, and then you can head over. This has the Zombies party, but it's the Descendants. So what Disney does every year between the shows Camp Rock, Descendants, and Zombies, they're on a rotation of summer releases. That has been the theme for the last couple of years. I think next year is when Zombies Mermaids comes out. This year we had the new Descendants, The Wicked in Wonderland. So this year's a Descendants party. I can almost guarantee next year will be Zombies again. Sometimes they throw Camp Rock in there as well. So you can always count on one of those parties. So you can head over to that party. An optional ride at this age, which I'm not necessarily sure that they'll enjoy it, but I put it on here. Space Mountain is pretty low of a wait time at the beginning of the party. Now it is pitch black and it plays ominous music or I don't know how to say the word ominous music. And so it's a little freaky. But if you have a kid that likes thrills, maybe you do that while the wait is really low. And then there is also the Villains Treat Trail that's over in Fantasyland. If you're staying in that Fantasyland, Tomorrowland area before you head to the hub. So you see how I'm like accomplishing one side of the park before we move on to the other side of the park before the parade. So I kind of stay in those two areas. And then we start moving to the Castle Hub. And we're basically on the same schedule as the infants and toddler schedule, where we're going to watch the Booty You Parade, the Hocus Pocus Spectacular, and then stay for the fireworks. And if you camp out, you can get a pretty good location. I don't like being right in front of the castle. I like to be on the opposite side of the street in that Castle Hub area for the parties because I want to be able to see the fireworks better. And when you're too close to the castle, like if you're right up there watching the show, which we did one year because we're like, oh, this is great view to see the show. Why don't we just camp out here? We can see fireworks. You don't get the full array. The projections were awesome because we could see everything and we could see Jack Skellington, but you really miss a lot of the fireworks show. And that's what I like is the actual fireworks show. Then once you've done all those three things, we head to Frontierland. After fireworks, we get more treats because we're there for the trick-or-treating. We ride Pirates of the Caribbean. Now Jack Sparrow's over there. That also will be really fun to see because they'll have that show, and I bet the kids will really enjoy that. And if you want to ride Tiana's, that's a great time to ride it because the wait line for Tiana's drops tremendously. And I bet it will still be low because I bet Big Thunder will have the longer wait time between the two. During the 11:15 parade, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train really drops. So that's a great time to go over there and ride that. And then we would end in Storybook Circus, do those treat trails, and we would ride Barnstormer on repeat. If you know, you know. That's one of our favorite rides to end the night with because you just ride it over and over and over again. There's also Daisy and Goofy over there, and I'm sure there'll be more characters. I'm kind of thinking Disney Junior is going back to Storybook Circus because that's where it used to be over in the pavilion that's like a seating area right next to the tent. So we'll see, but those are the orders where I would end the night. I feel like the school-age children, especially if they rested during the day, they can make it a lot longer. My 6-year-old that's now 6, she obviously was 4, turning 5 last year, and she made it to the end of the night. And the year before, we were at the Christmas party, and she made it till like 1 a.m., and she was only 4 years old. So with them resting and sleeping during the day, I definitely think they can make the entire party. And then again, showing you this map for the school-age children. So you see the first spot again is in that photo spot, and you can make your way up Main Street to get those different photo pass shots. And then you see us go all the way back here in Fantasyland for spot number 2, because we're going to Pinocchio Village House to eat. Then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are all in that general Tomorrowland Fantasyland area before we head to the Castle Hub for the show. Then we hit over in Frontier and Adventureland, ending back in Storybook Circus so that we can ride Barnstormer a bunch of times. Now, you also can see in this map that I didn't point out last time, there are little framed areas. Those are going to be some of the big framed portrait areas that you can take cool pictures. Don't forget to ask for magic shots at all your photo pass locations, and you can see those highlighted here by green little cameras, because a lot of them have little magic shots at the different locations, but also there's the big picture frames, and those are fun to take pictures at too. So now we are moving on to the tweens and teens. So 10 to 14 is who I made this itinerary for. So same process, 2:00, head to the park, get in as early as possible. This is going to be a little bit different though. You're going to want to eat pretty decent before you get here. So have a late lunch, like at 1:00. Really eat really well, because you're not going to eat again until a little bit later. Eat really well, get dressed, eat while you're getting dressed, get to the park. You're going to hopefully get to the park around 3:15, because you want to be at the front of the line this time. And then when you get in, you're going to immediately get in line for Jack and Sally. This age really thinks Jack and Sally is cool, even though some of them don't remember the movie or maybe don't even sit through the movie. But if they want to meet Jack and Sally, they approximately start meeting at 4:30. When you don't have the advantage of having an annual pass, you want to be at the front of the line. So you want to get to the park at 3:15 and be waiting. Do most of your waiting outside of the park. As soon as you get released in, you're going straight into the line. They typically start meeting around 4:30. So they may already be a line there, but the hope is if you get in right at 4, grab all your stuff, go straight in line. They start meeting at 4:30. Maybe you'll be done with the meet and greet by 5:36 before the party even starts. So this is a very ideal time to meet them. Then you're going to grab a quick snack. You can ride low demand rides. Some other characters start meeting at 6:30. We just don't know. So I still have Elvis Stitch in here. It used to be Seven Dwarfs. Seven Dwarfs used to meet at 6:30. But there's also a sweet spot of riding Tron. So if you wanted to get in line for Tron, the sweet spot for that is 6 to 7 p.m. 6 p.m., they are ushering all regular day guests in. And then a lot of people come to the party at 4, but majority come at 7. So if you want to get in line, you typically can ride Tron for less than about 45 minutes in that 6 to 7 window. Once the party is started, you're going to hit all the treat trails in Tomorrowland. If they're interested, my 11-year-olds would be very interested in the Descendants Dance Party. So we would definitely go there probably first while we were in Tomorrowland. Some of my kids want to ride Space Mountain, so we would get in line for that. We would move to the Storybook Circus treat trails, do all of those, and go straight to the Villains Treat Trail at Princess Fairy Tale Hall, because they'd want to see the villains. Some of them will want to get on Haunted Mansion because it's spooky time. Some Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but we would hit every treat trail on the way. So you have to keep that in mind. We're not doing as much and riding as much because my kids are going to hit all of the treat trails no matter what. Now, with them, you have a choice. We could keep going and then go find a spot for fireworks at 10, or we could go to the 9:05 Hocus Pocus Spectacular. When you make the choice to not go to that show, it's a little bit harder to find a spot to watch fireworks, because a lot of people have caught on to the fact that if they go see the 9 o'clock show, the show is about 20 minutes. It's already 9:35. You might as well just wait the 25 minutes until the 10 o'clock fireworks show. So just keep that in mind, or do a dessert party if that interests you and you don't want to do the crowds. So then you see the fireworks show, and then if you do the parade after the fireworks, the next parade is usually at 10:45 p.m. So, and again, we don't know 100% what times these are going to be, because they could change. One year was 10:45, one year was 11:15. So just depending on which time it is, you can make that decision if you stay or if you go. Then you watch the Boo to You parade at 11:15, and then you go check the wait times for Tron, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. If they're under 30 minutes, you definitely want to go and do them, for sure. If you didn't watch, if you already watched the Boo to You parade and you're not doing the 11:15 parade, definitely go check out the ride wait times by then, because they drop significantly. And then if you make it to the end of the party, great, but no worries if you don't. So again, you have hit all the areas. We walked in, we got our picture on Main Street, we went straight to Jack and Sally, and in this case, you may go straight to Jack and Sally. After that, grab your picture. So this could definitely be reversed on the tweens and teens. Then you go over to Tomorrowland, and then after that, you are heading to Storybook Circus, because you're really there for the treats. They have 3 treat trails back there, and then you're heading behind the castle to go to the Villains treat trail, over to Haunted Mansion, Frontierland, and making your way back to the castle. And then from that point, you're deciding, like, do I ride Tron? Do we get on rides? Do we go to the, go finish up the treat trails and hit every one? So you have a little bit more flexibility, but you have a couple of decisions. You really have to decide which Hocus Pocus show you're going to watch. If you're going to watch the one before fireworks or after fireworks, where you're okay with sitting during fireworks, because if you don't go to that first show, you may not get a really good spot because people are already going to be there. And then just how long you can make it through the party. Because with 10 to 14-year-olds, you should be able to make it the entire night and close it down. And then, of course, for my adults, I cannot forget you. My husband and I have gone to this party by ourselves as well and had a great time. And you have the most options because you have the patience you need to do what you need to do. So same thing, 2 o'clock start time. Get ready. I still don't recommend for adults to go to the park during the day. It's just too much. Like, it's too much. And you're old. Like, you want to think that you're not old. You're old and you're going to be tired. So, like, don't be tired. Just, like, rest, enjoy your morning, eat some good food, and then head to the park. So there's 2 options with this. You can enter Magic Kingdom, grab some photos before you start sweating to death. I like to have a dinner at Skipper Canteen. That's one of our favorite places. You have to check the menu because the food is a little spicy and unique, and a lot of people who don't like it. If you have a more simple palate, you're not going to like Skipper Canteen. Like, it's crazy that, people fall for the traps or the tropes of, like, oh, this is a must-eat place, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's a must-eat place for people who have the palate for spice. And if you don't have the palate for spice, or you like more simple foods, or you don't like Brazilian food, you're not going to like it here. But we like all of those things, so Skipper is great for us. So we're going to have dinner. And if you care more about meeting Jack and Sally early, you could do that. But we typically meet Jack and Sally later in the night when the park has died down and it's about a 30-minute wait. So that's why I don't have that first. We like to meet Mickey and Minnie early because that starts meeting later than Jack and Sally. So we will head there and get in line around 6:30. We'll hit up Monsters Inc. Treat Trail, and it's just really cute and funny in there. We'll ride Space Mountain with the lights off because it's very creepy. We'll hit the Villains Treat Trail because who doesn't love a good villain? Ride Haunted Mansion. Do the Adventureland stuff. So we would see the Cadaver Dance. Last year was Rusty Cutlass, but this year it's the new Spirited Swashbucklers, and Jack Sparrow will be out there. So we'll check that out. Again, we might see the first Hocus Pocus show, but of course it'll be busy. More than likely with the adults, we will get somewhere for fireworks, and we probably will do a dessert party if it was just the two of us, if I'm being honest, because $99 for the two of us to have like a place to stand is like worth it for us now, just because we can't do the crowds. But if it's not worth it to you, just grab a spot around 9:15. Watch the fireworks at 10. You can watch Hocus Pocus right after the fireworks, so that's great. And then if you want to catch the Boo-to-You parade at 11:15, you can definitely do that. Then if you're going to watch the Boo-to-You parade and you also want to meet Jack and Sally, this is my advice. You're going to watch the Boo-to-You parade right next to the theater. And as soon as you start to see like the parade is over, you're going to head inside the theater. And the line will be very short to meet Jack and Sally, or the shortest it's been all day. So it'll be about 30 minutes. We've watched that the last couple of years because we did it like 3 years ago, and it's been about the same every time. So it's like watch the parade from there right in front of the theater so you can go straight inside there as soon as you're ready, or if you've seen most of the parade and you want to go inside and meet them because the line drops significantly. Once you're done with that, you can head to Frontierland. Powerline Max used to perform on Main Street. I don't think he's doing that anymore. But you literally can do whatever you want. Squeeze in Tron, squeeze in Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. After that Boo-to-You parade, the lines all drop drastically and everyone is literally running out of the park to leave. And so we try to be the last people in the park, not gonna lie. Like we try to wait till like the photographers are setting up to take empty park pics and the wands are out, and we just hang out there. Until the last minute, so we continuously get in to rides. So we really enjoy the party by ourselves. We aren't going to all like the dance parties and the Disney Junior stuff. We're really just hitting some treat trails, going to the shows we want to go to, riding a bunch of rides, and getting a bunch of food. So that's the only time where we really stop and try all the new foods is when we don't have the kids, because it's just kind of a mess with the kids, and we'd rather just be like, okay, let's go get pizza, or let's go get a burger from Cosmic Rays while the party is going on. But when it's just my husband and I, we go try all the specialty foods as well. Of course, it's easier when it's just adults, but you still need an idea of a game plan, especially if there are specialty characters that you want to meet, which a lot of them are very cool. So I like meeting Jack Skellington and Sally. Like it's a great meet and greet. And I even love meeting Mickey. Another note, my daughter once made it to the end of the party and everyone else went home, and we literally met like 8 characters in the last hour of the party. So if you can make it that long, that's another suggestion is just don't save the characters that you know are like, we must see these till the end of the night. See those early. But hey, it's a bonus if you make it to the end of the night and you can meet a whole bunch of characters all at once. It was so much fun. One of my best memories with my kids or with any of them is that night where my daughter and I were the last 2 ones left at the party. Everyone had gone home and we were riding Dumbo, and we're like, okay, this is the ride we're going to ride over and over again. And I never thought Dumbo would make me sick, but when we rode it for that 5th time, I was getting a little sick, but it was just so cute because she was like, this is the best night ever. This is the best night of my life. Thank you, Mommy. This is the best night. And that for me is a memory that's seared in my brain. She doesn't even remember it at this point because it was like 4 years ago. And you know, unfortunately, infantile amnesia is what we call it in the therapy world, where you don't recollect all those memories from like early childhood. But for me as the mom, like I remember that, and I remember her face and how bright and light it was. And she was just like, this is the best time ever. And so, you know, those are memories that I will always hold, especially when we can make it the whole party. Okay, so just some notes for those who are like, we are here to ride or like chase after characters. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is a great opportunity to ride Haunted Mansion, Tiana's Tron, Seven Dwarfs. Haunted Mansion has a steady wait. the whole party. It's always about 25 minutes. During the party, if any of these rides are over 30 minutes, do not go ride it because it will drop at some point and relatively for most of the party. So don't go when there's like a super long wait during the party because it typically was around 30 minutes once the night started happening. The Tron thing, jumping in that 6 to 7 window is a really great window to ride that because, again, the guests are leaving and the party's just starting, so people are just flooding in and they're not running straight to the rides. Seven Dwarfs and Tiana's both became walk-ons at the end of the night, so keep that in mind. Like, the only time I've ever been in the standby line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train has been at the end of these parties because no one is in line and you're just buzzing through them. And then, like I said, keep in mind, Haunted Mansion for the Halloween party specifically says that since it's kind of like a spooky theme. Then character meet and greets, like we talked about. Jack and Sally is posted at 80 minutes for most of the party. It really is. It just is that popular. So that's why I'm saying if you want to do it, make that wait for yourself be from 3:15 to 4 when you're trying to get in, and then from 4:30 to like 5 when you're waiting in that line, or that 4 to 5, because your goal is if you get in at 3:45, you're going straight to the Jack and Sally line, and you're going to get in line and you're going to wait for them from 4 to 5 so you can see them. And then it's done. The only time I see it dip is during the parades. Now, during the first parade and the second parade, it dips because the first Boo to You parade, you have all the kids and all the families going to watch that because they know they're not going to make it to the 11:15 parade. But then it also dips during the 11:15 parade because by 11:15, all of the kids that are asleep are gone. The people who didn't watch the first Boo to You parade are now watching the Boo to You parade, and so it dips down again to that 45 minutes, but it stays pretty busy the entire time. The only time I see it dip lower than that is during fireworks, but then you're missing fireworks. So no one wants to miss that, especially if they're coming to the party. So I gave you the different strategies that I think are solid for meeting Jack and Sally, but just keep in mind that's how it is. Now, with Mickey and Minnie, we really saw their wait time drop after 10:30, and it stayed consistently about 30 minutes last year for the rest of the party. So keep that in mind. So if you don't rope drop that to meet them, they usually will start meeting at 6:30. So the specialty characters that they have that year. So if Seven Dwarfs comes back, if Elvis Stitch comes back, Mickey and Minnie included in this, they will start meeting at about 6:30. Everyone else comes out right when the party starts. So we'll see what the cool specialty character is this year, because again, I'm assuming it's not going to be Elvis Stitch since Angel, Stitch, and Lilo are doing a dance party. So I'm assuming it's not going to be that. We already know Mickey and Minnie will meet together. So surely there's going to be another like really cool, rare specialty character meet and greet because obviously we have Jack and Sally. So I don't know if they're bringing the Seven Dwarfs back or what their plan is, but we will find out on the first party on August 7th. Okay, so we've gone through strategy for all types of people. I'm hoping this will help you plan your trip a little bit better and like help you with your focus. I don't know what this party is going to bring. I kind of hope that we eventually get to meet the Sanderson sisters. I think that would be pretty awesome because they're in this parade. So I would love to see that as a specialty character. And like I said before, I don't think this party is going to really change much for the next 3 years. I don't know the exact date of Villains Land opening, but I do think it was like 2030 or something, or 2030. I don't think it was 2031 because I don't think it'll take 5 years. But you know what? New Fantasyland took 5 years. And who knows what they will encounter. I mean, Universal built a year in a park, so maybe Disney can build an area of a park in 2 years. It is 14 acres, which is the largest expansion that has ever happened. And so I'm hoping it'll be a major overhaul, and maybe that will open in 3 or 4 years. I do think some cuteness and some fun areas, especially for the littles, will come with Piston Peak, and I don't think that opening date is too far off. I think maybe in 2 Halloweens. I definitely don't think it's gonna be next Halloween that we're gonna have it, but I think the following Halloween, we should for sure have Piston Peak. I mean, that would be a little bit that would have taken a long time if it's more than that, but you can pretty much count on the party looking the same, for a while, which is okay. I mean, it's a great party, I love it, and we'll probably go back, next year to the party. It's just, this year we're taking a break because we've been every year, and it's really not too different. I do know that the party exclusive merch will not be online. However, I did find out the pink pastel Mickey stuff will be online starting on August 10th. Now, Disney is interesting and funny, so I don't know if it's August 10th at midnight, August 10th at 6 a.m., or August 10th at 7 a.m., but you better believe I'll be trying all of them because it's also my birthday month. So Disney sent me my 20% off coupon. So, and there's a lot of cute pink stuff this year. Um, I actually love it. Like, it is great. They tested it out last year and it was cute and sold out so fast. I just happened to be at Disney, so I was able to snag some of the stuff last August. But this year they made a full line with home decor, jerseys. Jerseys are really big right now at Disney. We even have fallen to that because we have like Disney Cruise Line jerseys, and then we got the Cinderella jerseys. And they even have like a pink Walt Disney World Halloween jersey. And so I definitely will be purchasing some of that stuff online and trying at midnight first to see if it goes live then. And then I'll try again at 6 a.m. if it doesn't go live at midnight, because I have a feeling that stuff online is going to sell out so fast. I don't even think I'm going to have time to make like an LTK board. So this is your warning that it's going to be out there. But if you have any questions about the Halloween party strategy that I would use, what would be best for your family, be sure to come on the YouTube video and ask your questions in that comment section, since you can't do that just by listening to the podcast. And I will definitely answer your questions. Now that I'm doing YouTube multiple times a week, I have notifications on for the comments, so I'm very sure to answer back or respond to comments that are left on my videos now. As always, I know you have so many Disney podcasts that you could listen to, and I I am so grateful for y'all and so grateful that you all are here. I took like 6 weeks off of the podcast unintentionally, but busy with life and school, and, posting the podcast last week and being back on the air was amazing. And literally within like the first 4 days, there was 1,000 downloads. And that just makes me feel so good because I know that you guys listen and you love it. And I love providing this information for you. I really do. It just makes me so happy because I know it's going to change the way that you do Disney and you feel a little bit more prepared. And hopefully, I teach you to ignore the FOMO because Disney is a place that gives you lots of FOMO. That's the point. That's why we keep going back all these years later. So, anyways, I hope you all have a magical rest of your day. And don't forget to put your questions in the comment. Until next time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks for watching, and we will see you real soon.